Hello, hello, my name is Randy White. I'm a realtor in Austin, Texas with eXp Realty, and I just got done walking around my local neighborhood dropping off market reports and fresh cookies. Don't you wish I was your realtor? And then I thought, my neighbors are going to eat these cookies and they're going to think, I really want to know how to make these things. They're delicious. So I thought, hey, I'll make a video for you guys. Nerd alert, I am a little bit particular about my cooking, so you're going to have a lot of facts coming at you while we're baking in the kitchen. But I think it's going to be a ton of fun to show you guys how you too can make this magic happen in your kitchen. So let's go. Hi there! Are you guys ready to make some cookies with me? Now, I'm about to show you my little tiny baby kitchen because I live in central Austin where square footage is not a feature. So I don't want anybody judging me because I could have used a green screen and tricked you guys into thinking that my kitchen is awesome. But I thought, no, let the people in. Let them see what I got going on. Let's go, let's make some cookies. Go ahead and do yourself a favor and prep all your ingredients ahead of time so that you can pull this off as an organized baker rather than a mad scientist. So the whole theme of these cookies is that they are chewy. And so everything that we do is going to be geared towards making these things as chewy as possible. So the first thing that we're going to do is melt the butter. And the reason that you melt the butter is because it releases the water, which makes it chewier. We're only going to melt 10 tablespoons of the 14 tablespoons of butter that the recipe calls for. And the reason for that is if you melt all 14 tablespoons, then you actually end up losing too much moisture. Another thing that happens whenever you melt this butter, which is just sort of a pleasant side effect, is that it tends to brown the butter and it gives it that sort of heartier, nuttier flavor that you're probably tasting. You want to be sure and use a non-stick pan so that you can see the color of the butter and not overdo it while browning it. Throw that butter in the pan and let's get this party started. You're going to have the stove on medium-high heat and let the butter melt. It takes about 2 minutes. Now don't start dilly-dallying in the kitchen because when it starts to foam up after it's melted, that's when you really want to keep a close eye on it and start stirring it around. Underneath all that foam is where the milk solids are actually starting to brown, and this is going to take anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes, and you're going to start to get sort of a nutty aroma in the kitchen. As soon as you get there, you got to take the pan off the heat and pour the butter into a heat-proof bowl because there's a lot of heat in that pan and the butter will just continue to brown if you leave it in there. We are going to complete our butter journey by placing the remaining 4 tablespoons of butter into the hot butter and swirling it around so that the 4 tablespoons of butter will melt while simultaneously cooling off the 10 tablespoons of butter that we just took off the hot pan. Okay, so we got the butter situated. So much prep for just butter, am I right? But now we're going to move on to sugar. And instead of using equal parts white sugar and brown sugar, this recipe actually calls for you to use a little bit more brown sugar because brown sugar is more moist and makes the cookies chewier. Now don't use old brown sugar. You get your butt in the car, you go down to HEB and you pick up the fresh stuff because fresh brown sugar is more moist and will help the cookies become more chewy, which is the whole point of these awesome cookies. Head on back over to that well-prepped station, you skillful baker you, and toss in the ½ cup of white sugar and 3/4 cups of brown sugar. Pick up your whisk and take it away, baby. You want to make sure that all that sugar dissolves. Go ahead and toss in your 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract as well as your 1 teaspoon of table salt. Alright, so after you've whisked in your sugars and your salt and your vanilla, we are going to whisk in our 1 egg yolk and 1 whole egg. And the reason that you only do 1 whole egg and then 1 yolk is by taking that extra white out, you are helping the cookies become chewy again, and also just less cakey. Alright, now we're not going to just crack our eggs in there and just start whisking and then call it a day. No. What we got to do is we're going to put the eggs in, we're going to whisk for 30 seconds, and then you're going to let it sit for 3 minutes. And you're going to do this a total of 3 times. So whisk for 30 seconds, wait for 3 minutes, and do that 3 separate times. And the reason that you're doing that is that you're going to find when you come back after each 3-minute break, your cookie dough is becoming more and more glossy. And what's happening is that the sugar is dissolving, and whenever you have the sugar already melted and dissolved in that way, it starts to caramelize easier in the oven. So now we're getting the effect of having, again, chewier cookies and also a much deeper, more rich flavor. All right, so all we got left is putting in the flour. It's 1 3/4 cup, and then you got to put in 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Do not forget to put in the baking soda. It is your leavener, and it's what helps make your cookies rise whenever they are in the oven, and ain't nobody got time for flat cookies. And then last but certainly not least, 1 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. All right, after you've mixed all the stuff together, now you're gonna put it onto the cookie tray. Be sure to put a piece of parchment paper down your cookie tray before you assemble the cookies on there. The cookies need to be 3 tablespoons in size, and the reason you're doing that is because a bigger cookie gives you a chewier center. And then when you arrange them on the sheet, it's going to fit about 8 cookies on one sheet, and you want them to be 2 inches apart. Oh my gosh, it's almost cookie time. Okay, so this recipe actually makes 16 cookies, and we have 8 here on the tray. You are going to cook it 1 tray at a time. And the reason that you do this is because when you are looking for a specific texture with your baked goods, you want to have even heat on top and even heat on bottom so that it melts and sets at the exact right time. Put those puppies in there at 375, anywhere from 10 to 14 minutes, and rotate your tray halfway through. Oh my gosh, they're ready. If your cookies are done, then they're going to be a nice golden brown color. Additionally, you can perform a little test where the center of the cookie should be nice and soft, but then the edges are firm enough that you can lift the cookie up a little bit and it does not fall apart. If this test passes for you, then congratulations, you've got yourself a tray of hot, fresh chocolate chip cookies. Well, that's it. That's how I make my awesome cookies from America's Test Kitchen. It's a lot of details. I'm pretty particular about it. And you know, if you can see how much I care about the details of these cookies, just imagine what I would do as your realtor for your real estate transaction. Mwah! Delicious! I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I know I did. If you want access to the full recipe and set of instructions from America's Test Kitchen themselves, you will have to create an account. I provided the link below to go to their website so that you can start that off if you'd like to. If you are not interested in cooking anything ever, I totally get that. And what you can do is just hire me as your real estate agent, and then I will gladly make you these chocolate chip cookies. My name is Randy White. I'm a realtor in Austin, Texas with eXp Realty, and I do videos like this every week. I do videos about real estate, I do videos about Austin, I do videos about neighborhoods around here, and you should definitely subscribe to my channel so that you can get to know me and get to know this town a little bit better. I really enjoyed showing you guys around the kitchen today, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much. Stuff on the edges to where you can actually sort of pick them up. See, I can sort of very carefully, without hurting myself, lift those up. They done.